This is News on the Go, only on Diamond TV. We catch it as it happens.
Gloria, I need a prompt from you.
You can come right behind, at the top there, just right behind, so we can spread out. Where HS is?
Good morning to you all. I'm here to read a statement on behalf of the Council of the Law Association of Zambia regarding the reopening of the courts and the need for accountability. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, members of legal fraternity, and fellow citizens, I address you today on behalf of the Council of the Law Association of Zambia, LAZ, concerning the closure of courts and court registries across the country from Monday, 24th August 2026 to the reopening on Thursday, 27th August 2026. LAZ welcomes the reopening of the courts as it restores access to justice and registry services for the legal practitioners, litigants, and members of the public, and allows court processes, urgent applications, and other judicial businesses to resume as normal. However, we wish as LAZ to place on record that the reopening of the courts today does not by itself resolve the serious issues arising from the 3-day interruption of access to judicial services. It is therefore necessary for LAZ to speak today soberly, constructively, and firmly, because access to justice is too important to be treated as an administrative matter. Over the last couple of days, the association has made frantic efforts to engage the judiciary and to obtain clarity regarding the circumstances surrounding the closure. We sought to understand the reasons for the closure, its scope and duration, the authority pursuant to which it was effected, and importantly, what measures, if any, were put in place by the judiciary to ensure continued access to justice for persons whose rights and legal remedies required urgent judicial intervention. Regrettably, we have not received the meaningful and comprehensive explanation that the circumstances required. We have also taken note of the public statement from State House indicating that the executive did not sanction or direct the closure of the court. We have no reason at this stage to doubt that assertion. Our immediate concern is the effect of the closure on litigants and legal practitioners generally. For 3 days, access to courts and registries was interrupted, and during that period, there was no comprehensive and generally accessible alternative mechanism communicated to court users for dealing with all urgent applications, filings, and procedural deadlines. The consequences could be significant. There are accused persons, for example, who may have required bail during that intervening period. There are persons who may have required urgent protection from unlawful detention or other violations of their rights. There are survivors, for example, of gender-based violence, GBV, who may have required protection orders from the court. There are litigants requiring urgent injunctions. There are, in addition, businesses and individuals whose property or contractual interest may have required immediate protection and attention. And there are parties, in addition, whose legal rights depend upon filing within a prescribed statutory or constitutional period. No person, we believe as an association, should lose a right, remedy, or opportunity to be heard because the institution through which the right had to be exercised was inaccessible. LAZ therefore calls upon the judiciary to issue, without further delay, clear and authoritative directions on how all filings, applications, and deadlines affected by the closure will be treated going forward. Where a litigant or legal practitioner was prevented from complying with a requirement because of the closure, appropriate measures must be available to ensure that they are not unfairly prejudiced. We as an association acknowledge that genuine security concerns may, in exceptional circumstances, require restrictions on access to court premises. The safety of judicial officers, judicial staff, legal practitioners, litigants, and members of the public is without a doubt important. However, where security concerns arise, the response must be proportionate and, as far as reasonably possible, preserve access to essential judicial services. Security cannot and should not become a blanket justification for leaving people without a meaningful avenue to approach the courts of law. If circumstances require the physical closure of the court premises, there must be alternative arrangements for urgent matters and essential filings alike. Finally, this experience has exposed the need for a clear institutional framework for maintaining access to justice during times of emergencies. The country should not again find itself in a situation where court premises are closed, legal deadlines continue to run, urgent rights require protection, and court users do not know where to go to seek legal remedies or reliefs. LAZ therefore calls upon the judiciary to develop and communicate formal contingency arrangements for future disruptions. These should provide, at a minimum, for mechanisms for urgent applications and alternative filings or alternative filing arrangements where physical access is unavailable. It is a safeguard for the rule of law. In conclusion, the Law Association of Zambia stands ready to engage with the judiciary and all stakeholders to ensure that these issues are addressed in the public interest. We will, as an association, continue to monitor the situation and, in accordance with our mandate under Section 4 of the Law Association of Zambia Act, Chapter 31 of the Laws of Zambia, which is our empowering statute, continue to defend the rule of law, access to justice, constitutionalism, and the independence and dignity of the judiciary. We wish to stress as an association that we do so not as an adversary of the judiciary, but a key stakeholder in the administration of justice, and as an association committed to ensuring that the justice system works for every Zambian, including the vulnerable. I thank you most sincerely, and may the good Lord bless you all. Have a good day. Thank you. We're happy to take a question or two from the press. You can see one there. Yes. Sorry, are you able to speak a little louder? We can hardly hear you.
My name is Adora.
Yes.
I want to find out in terms of handling your client's business, how has this affected your business as the closure of the courts?
Well, as I stated in my statement, the 3-day closure entailed that our members of the profession, for example, could not allow their clients to access the court premises. And it is in that regard that we have requested and implored upon the judiciary to ensure that, if possible, they make contingency measures and provide guidelines as to how to treat those matters which should have come up during the period that the courts were closed. Perhaps the final question?
Yes, my name is Stephen. I'm a freelancer. LAZ is known for having taken action against the state in terms of suing the state. So in this matter, we will not contemplate taking that position.
The Law Association of Zambia, first and foremost, is a creature of statute. The Law Association of Zambia Act, Chapter 31 of the Laws of Zambia is our empowering statute, and it gives us the mandate, among many others, to use the instrument of the law as a means to foster the development and growth of society, but most importantly, protect, promote, and preserve the rule of law. And the Council of LAZ is well alive to the fact that the recent developments have raised quite peculiar legal issues which Council is interested in further discussing and taking the relevant steps within the confines of the law. Thank you. So thank you very much, and we can perhaps take one final question, then we'll call it a day.
Okay, I just want to find out, with the courts now being open, can the opposition still be allowed to petition?
This is a very good question. I think the judiciary will be able to guide in that respect, because they have already seen communication as to what the status of all applications which were not made within the required period actually is. But in that respect, we hope that the judiciary will provide guidance in terms of how we treat such cases that were affected by reason of the intervening closure of the judiciary. So thank you so much, and I wish you all a blessed day. God bless you.